What if you're accidentally cutting years off your life without even realizing it? Most people make small mistakes every day that cut years off their lifespan. I've spent 15 years learning the hard way, and today I want to help you skip the pain. I've developed the 15 most important habits you need to do to avoid dying early. These are the exact habits that I've taught to over 2,000 clients since 2018. The first habit you have to implement is knowing your numbers. The scale can say you're healthy, but your blood work is going to give you the truth. For example, I had a client whose weight was perfectly fine. They were in the healthy range, but when they went to get blood work done, their testosterone was low and they were pre-diabetic. And if left unchecked, that could have easily progressed to type 2 diabetes. Get your blood work done every 6 months or at a minimum once per year. Here are the numbers that I want you to pay attention to. HbA1c. This is essentially your average blood sugar level over the last 3 months. Your lipids, such as cholesterol and triglycerides, these are huge for heart attack risk. Number 3 is testosterone. These are tied heavily into sleep, mood and energy. And number 4 is hsCRP or inflammation. This next habit is something most people skip, but it's measuring what you cannot see. Because the stuff that cuts your life short is often invisible. Get a DEXA scan. It shows your visceral fat. This is the dangerous fat that wraps around your organs and is linked to all types of disease such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes and chronic inflammation. It also shows your bone density, and this is where it gets pretty serious. When bone density is low, a bad fall in older age can ultimately lead to your own death. Hip fractures in older adults result in about a 1 in 3 chance of survival in the next 12 months. And many who survive never get the level of mobility they once had back. The point isn't to scare you, it's to catch this early while you can still do something about it, which we'll cover in habit number 4. Habit number 3 is another one that can silently cause problems. It's get rid of visceral fat. We had a client, Neil, who had type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure, and his long-term health trajectory was pretty bad. We helped him lose over 100 pounds, and when he retested his DEXA, his visceral fat had dropped dramatically. And even better, under his doctor's supervision, he completely came off his blood pressure meds, and his type 2 diabetes went into remission. The key is this: visceral fat will come down when you combine nutrition, strength training, and daily movement, which I'm going to break down for you in the next habits. This next habit will determine whether you need help getting out of a wheelchair at 85 or you remain independent. Habit number 4 is strength training. Strength and muscle mass are the second and third best predictors of your mortality. Muscle is basically your longevity engine. It improves blood sugar, protects your joints, improves balance, promotes stability, and strength training helps you maintain bone density as well, so that if you do fall, you can recover quickly. Now, lack of strength training can hit close to home. You may have seen this with aging parents or grandparents. My grandmother spent the last 10 years of her life in a wheelchair, essentially immobile. Here's the simple goal: get stronger over time. The stronger you are today, the more capable you're going to be in your 70s and 80s. I recommend 2 to 4 full body strength training sessions each week. If you're new or a beginner, start with 2 20 to 30 minute sessions per week and build up over time. And if you want a completely free, simple program you can follow, grab one at the link in the description. This next habit is the most important when it comes to your mortality, and in some studies, it was more predictive of mortality than your age. Habit number 5 is build your VO2 max. It's basically how well your heart and lungs deliver oxygen around your body. And if we look at the reality here, there are people who can run marathons at 85 years old, and some people who can't run a 5k at 40. It's not just defined by your age. The workout I use with almost every client is the Norwegian 4x4. This involves a 5 to 10 minute warm up, then 4 rounds of 4 minutes all out, 4 minutes recovery, and just repeat that cycle 4 times. When you're going all out, this should be like an 8 out of 10 pace, something you want to be able to sustain for the 4 minutes. Don't just go balls to the wall and burn out after 1 minute. You want something you can sustain over the 4. And then if you have time, add 1 to 2 longer steady state sessions around 45 to 90 minutes, more in that zone 2 or 3 range, which is where you can hold a conversation. My sort of advanced weekly template just now is 3 full body sessions and 3 runs every single week. And if running doesn't work for you, you have sore knees, sore hips, biking, rowing, swimming, Stairmaster, they're all valid options as well. Next, I'm going to show you how to avoid a risk factor that's up there with smoking. Habit number 6 is getting more steps. Being sedentary is a risk factor for disease, and sitting in a chair for 10 hours a day or getting less than 5,000 steps can be a health problem on its own. In the same way that smoking is its own independent risk factor for disease, so is being sedentary. Here's the easiest way to get your activity up. Follow our 3x15 method, which is one walk at 15 minutes in the morning, afternoon and evening. Ideally after meals, as that's actually going to help with blood glucose control as well. Get a walking pad for your living room. They cost like $100. This is the easiest 30 minutes of walking you'll get. I get 3,000 steps watching a TV show at night with 30 minutes of low effort. Go for a walking meeting, park far away, always take the stairs. These sound small, but they drastically compound. This next habit is something you've definitely heard of, but a lot of people struggle to implement. Habit number 7 is eating enough protein. Protein is how you keep your muscle mass, and muscle mass, as we've already discussed, is one of the most important things for your longevity. Most clients we work with think they eat a decent amount of protein when they come to us. Then when we track it, they're typically under 100 grams per day. Here's the simple target we give to our clients. 1 gram per pound of ideal body weight. That means if you're 220 today and you want to get to 170, start by building up to 170 grams of protein per day. The easiest way to hit this is to build every single meal around one protein source, ideally getting 30 to 50 grams in at each meal. For breakfast, that could be eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken or turkey sausage, or maybe even a protein shake. For dinner, that's going to be things more like chicken, beef, fish, lean cuts of meat. And keep easy high protein snacks around. Things like beef jerky, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, and even low fat cheese sticks are good. Now we're going to talk about the habit that accelerates aging and makes everything harder. Even fat loss, your mood, muscle building, and your hunger levels. Habit number 8 is fix your sleep. If you're routinely sleeping under 7 hours, this is linked with higher blood pressure, insulin resistance, and also cognitive decline. One of the first things we do with clients, even if they have a weight loss goal, is if you're sleeping 6 hours or less, just get the sleep right first. Just makes everything so much easier. So here's where you can start. The first lever to pull is go to bed and wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends. That allows your body to get into a rhythm. Next, implement the 3-2-1 method. That means no food 3 hours before bed, no liquids 2 hours before bed, and actually spend 1 hour winding down. That means no Slack, no emails, no doom scrolling. Go for a warm shower, spend some time with your family, read a physical book. Do something to actually detach from the day. And finally, follow the sleep cave protocol. Turn your bedroom into a cave. Make it pitch black and cool, so buy blackout blinds or an eye mask if you need to, and set the room temperature to 66 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This next habit accelerates cognitive decline, wrecks your sleep, crashes your testosterone, and completely shuts down fat burning. Habit number 9 is cutting out alcohol. Alcohol is a group 1 carcinogen. It's in the same category as smoking. If you care about avoiding an early death, you should reduce or cut out alcohol completely. It's not just about the additional calories, it's the effects on your sleep, your mood, your testosterone production, and the encouragement to store visceral fat as well. The best option is cut it out. There is no safe limit, but we work with a lot of people who won't or can't, and that's okay. So my recommendation is try to cap it to a couple of drinks a couple of times a week. If you follow that rule generally, you're going to be okay. I mean, I personally will still go out to drink with my friends every so often. It just happens to be once every 6 months maybe. Next, we're going to talk about something that accelerates aging at the cellular level. And for a lot of you, this may show up as a 3 a.m. wake up where your brain just won't shut off. Habit number 10 is manage your cortisol and stress levels. Stress isn't necessarily bad. Chronic stress is bad. When cortisol stays elevated all the time, your sleep suffers, your cravings suffer, your testosterone drops, and fat loss becomes harder. If you're working 60 hours a week in a senior leader position, you're probably feeling this. And I mean, I feel it myself. There are nights I wake up and just can't get back to sleep. I run a company with 20 employees, and stress is just part of my life. But here's some of the things I do to manage it. If I'm feeling stressed in the morning or just before bed, I'll try a box breathing method. The 4x4 is good, which means inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and just repeat that cycle. Do it for a few minutes and you should start to feel your heart rate coming down. But my favourite way to deal with it is make sure to build in some daily movement. 2 to 3 walks outside daily, ideally in nature. That may sound simple, but there actually is some science behind getting around greenery for reducing stress levels as well. And finally, plan your next day or do a brain dump before you shut down your work for the night. Now, we're going to talk about something that is invisible. You can feel fine, but it can still wreck your health. Habit number 11 is controlling your blood sugar. Repeated blood sugar spikes mean repeated insulin spikes. And over time, that's how you can develop insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. So here's the fix. Build your meals around protein and fibre, and keep ultra-processed foods as low as possible. The combination of protein and fibre helps slow digestion and blunt the glucose spike. And the second part of that is, if you build in the walks I discussed earlier after your meals, this will drastically improve your blood sugar control after those meals. A simple 10 to 15 minute walk is more than enough. And if you're really short for time, do 1 to 2 minutes of air squats after each meal. The next habit is something you already know, but it's probably the one that's sabotaging your health the most. Habit number 12 is cut out ultra-processed foods. Things like chips, chocolate, cookies, ice cream, they're ultimately engineered to keep you eating. They spike your cravings, they make blood sugar harder to control, and because they have so many calories, they drive weight gain, chronic inflammation, and obesity as well. Here's my standard. Make ultra-processed foods a small minority. Here's what I actually do. Throughout the week, I minimize them to as close to zero as I can. Then on a Friday, Saturday, or maybe a Sunday evening, I'll go out for a couple of meals. That could be anything. It could be pizza, it could be burger and fries from Five Guys, and then go for dessert. I find that just 2 meals a week or so allows me to stay focused the rest of the time. You may have to find something that works for you, but that is a great solution for me. And over 90% of my calories come from quality ingredients. The key here is that you have to find balance. I've really struggled with this, especially in my earlier years. I used to go on very extreme diets where I would cut out all junk completely all the time. And then every so often I would just go on an absolute binge. I would binge until I felt sick, then I would be sick, then I would actually keep binging. And I'd done that on more than one occasion. So you don't want to give yourself an eating disorder by cutting out everything. If you're starting from a place where you're struggling with this, cut them down gradually. Build in better swaps and your cravings will improve over time. This next habit can cause real problems, especially in men over 40. Habit number 13 is fix your testosterone. Lower testosterone is strongly linked with cardiovascular disease, lower energy, worse mood, and lower sex drive. Now, we had a client whose testosterone was in the low 300s and he was symptomatic, which means he was suffering from low energy, his mood was off, and his libido was in the toilet. But once he cleaned up the basics, so better sleep, he lost some body fat, he built some muscle, and he improved his nutrition, his testosterone came back up to the 600 to 700 range in just 6 months. And it's been there ever since, which was way over a year ago at this point. The point is, for a lot of men, you can get testosterone back into the optimal healthy range just by doing everything I've discussed in the video so far. TRT can be an option, but that's ultimately a medical intervention as a last resort after you've fixed the fundamentals. Well, that's my opinion on it anyway. Everything we just talked about can fall apart fast if you don't have a travel protocol. Habit number 14 is maintaining momentum when you travel. I cannot tell you how many conversations I have had where I spoke to someone who'd done great for months, maybe even years, then they went on a big vacation, then they went on a big work trip, they got derailed and they just never got back into things. Now they're 30 pounds up and they're completely off track again. One of our clients, Tim, who's the president of a large company, would make great progress for 2 to 4 months at a time, then go on a large business trip where he had to do some traveling for specific events, and it would take him 3 or 4 months to get back into it. He was spending half his year not doing anything, and that just led to a constant yo-yo up and down in weight and health. Here's the fix. When you travel, lower the bar slightly. You do not need to be 100 miles per hour all the time. Set yourself a workout floor or minimum. If you normally work out 4 times a week, maybe just try and keep 2 workouts going. You can use bodyweight or dumbbells on the bench in a regular fitness centre. On the nutrition side, make sure you're getting your protein in consistently. If you're at Hudson News, for example, in the airport, grab yourself a core protein shake and some fruit, or a bag of jerky. And when it comes to restaurants, order protein first, then some vegetables, then a non-fried carbohydrate like rice, sweet potato, or potatoes. The goal here isn't perfection or continued weight loss, it's actually just to maintain your momentum so that when you come back from the trip, you just flow naturally into keeping things going. Now, this habit is actually the one that's going to make the 14 we just discussed stick. Habit number 15 is get accountability. You've probably been able to implement what I've discussed in this video for 6 to 8 weeks on your own several times. But then you hit a roadblock, you hit a plateau, you get stuck, you lose motivation. My first 4 years in the gym were pretty unproductive. I was semi-consistent, made some progress, but it wasn't great. 4 years in, I hired a coach and made more progress in 4 months than I had in 4 years. Because I had structure, check-ins, accountability, and someone adjusting the plan based on my results. I still use that knowledge today, over 11 years later. Hire a coach, get yourself accountable, and make an investment. Once you get healthy and have built the habits in the right way, you don't have to do this again. Now, if you're a busy professional who wants help pulling all of this together, then stop messing around. Go to the link in the description and book a call with my team. We will look at your schedule, your goals, and what's been holding you back, and we'll create a custom plan built around those to make sure that you get the results you're looking for. Or we'll give you your money back. We're that confident in what we do.